had a slight reprieve from the bitter cold temperatures, but there's still a chill in the air, and what better way to warm you up than a bowl of hearty soup? I'm back with cooking instructor Ann Donegan and her student Brandon Massey. Nice to have you guys here.
Thank you, thank you.
Brandon, you are a student of Betty Ann and Stephanie's.
Yes.
What is your favorite thing that you cook with them?
I love the breads that we make.
Oh,
There's
I'm
so
sure
many
they're
different
wonderful,
kinds.
right?
Yes.
All right, today we're making a soup though, right? Tell us about the recipe, Betty Ann.
Well, it's really very simple. We brought this back from Italy. It has vegetables in it, of course. We have some onions here. I've got a little olive oil in the pan. We're just going to let these sweat a little bit. And when you cook something like this, these are root vegetables. These are all grown under the ground. When you start cooking these for a few minutes ahead of time, because there's no water in the pan, they cook, and the carbohydrates that are in the vegetables breaks down into sugar and sweetens them up a little bit.
Okay.
So this is important to do for a couple of minutes before you add the liquid. Because once you add the liquid, that doesn't happen anymore.
Okay.
And I'll show you a little trick.
Yes.
This is a 2-cup measure. You need 2 cups of onions.
Yes.
I'll give you an idea how much.
How big of an onion you need and how much you need to chop.
Right, exactly. And I'm just going to show you some celery, some little tricks with celery. This celery is very, very important in soup because the leaves this celery's in the parsley family.
Oh.
So celery has a lot of flavor and the leaves have a lot of flavor. And I just want to show you a quick little way to chop. This is rinsed. And I'm just going to do this. Now when you cut across, see what happens? You see how fine the pieces are?
Oh.
You see? So it's a quick way, because you don't want to chop celery in the Cuisinart, because the strings get kind of, they get tangled and they get kind of funky. And see, and so if the pieces get too big, you can just do this again. So just quick. Of course, you have to rinse this first, and then you have some nice little pieces. Some people take the celery, and every single piece they take it, they make strips out of it, and then go down.
That seems a little excessive.
And it takes a long time. Scut work is nice, but it's nice if you can be efficient. So this goes in the pot. Brandon's going to chop up some basil. He's going to do a little chiffonade of basil because we have some finished soup, and the basil and the parsley go in at the end because they do break down.
Okay.
There's a lot of vitamin C in parsley and a lot of vitamin C in basil, but if you cook it too long, you lose that. So that always goes in at the end. So we're going to sweat these for a couple of minutes, and these are the beans. Now these are white beans. These are cannellini beans.
Okay.
Now these are soaked overnight. If you have 1 cup of beans and you soak them overnight, this is 3 cups of beans now.
Oh, it turns that much more, huh?
It swells that much. See, if you put the beans in raw without soaking them, it takes up so much of the liquid and takes so long that the other vegetables turn to
mush?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then if you have to keep adding stock, you're also adding salt.
So soak these a night before?
Yeah, overnight.
Okay.
Usually overnight, yeah.
Oh, that's a
You
great
see
tip.
how you see how this is sweating?
Yeah, starting to smell good.
Yep. So now we're going to put in this is the farro, and you can see it's a whole grain. We're putting in a cup of farro, and this was a cup of beans. It's no longer a cup of beans. But
And you don't have to pre-cook the farro, you just throw it right in?
Some people soak it, but I prefer to have a little bit of, al dente, a little bit of tooth to it. Now what we have here, I have some stock that I made. So this is going to go in.
How'd you make the stock? Is that something you get a chicken, you boil it, that type of thing?
And bones, skin, all the scraps from the chicken, and I use onions and, of course.
And you let it cook.
I cook it overnight. I always cook it overnight. This is some tomatoes. This is 2 cups of tomatoes that I crushed, a little bit of wine, a little bit of pepper, and this is just going to cook. Now, when you're making soup, you want to make sure that you cover it because we're making soup.
Okay.
And if you don't cover it,
okay,
everything's going to evaporate. Now, you want to bring it to a boil and then bring it down to a simmer. A simmer is about 185 degrees, so you won't get any evaporation. But if you boil it,
okay,
even if you have the cover on, you're going to lose some liquid. So you see how this, of course, is going to not be this liquid when it's cooked. But here it is finished.
Now, how long typically is that going to take?
It's going to take about an hour at least, depending on your beans. The longer you soak the beans, the less time it'll take to cook this. The farro is going to cook in an hour. The beans could take an hour and a half. Now this is done, and Brandon did the basil.
Oh, that looks fantastic.
And this is some parsley. So we're going to put this in and stir this up, and then put in the Brandon, honey, and then now you see how pretty this looks, and you see how the vegetables are still bright. That's what you want to see. You see, there's still texture to the.
Nothing's mushy. It looks
exactly.
fantastic.
If you didn't soak the beans, then these carrots would be like baby food.
I get it.
And you want to have. I mean, this is not really, there's no meat here, but this is still protein rich because when you have Want a little lesson about amino acids?
Well, yeah, we should just mention you have a little bit of a chemistry
Right.
background,
Yes.
Betty Ann, right? That's why you're such an expert here.
There's 20 amino acids.
Okay.
12 your body can make, 8 you have to eat. 7 of them are in wheat.
Okay.
7 of them are in corn, and 7 of them are in rice. The one that's missing is lysine.
Okay.
And that's found in beans, it's found in fish, it's found in nuts.
And we need lysine.
You need lysine, because without the lysine, there's no building blocks. It's like having a car without the steering wheel. Can you drive?
Nope.
No. So you need that lysine. And so when you mix beans with wheat or rice
Sure.
or corn, you're adding all the building blocks. So if you want to eat a meatless meal, you should know
So it's balanced, though. There's no meat, but
very
it's still
balanced. Now there's also lysine in cheese.
Okay.
So if you add cheese to this, you see you're even adding more lysine, and you should use a little bit of
A
cheese.
little Parmesan on
Exactly.
top, right?
And this is Parmesan Reggiano. This is the good stuff. So
How
we're
do we
gonna-
know it's the good stuff? You're explaining to me. I like this.
Because it says Reggiano on there. It
Yes.
has to say that. It's stamped on every
Here,
single.
we'll turn it around so we could see it. You could see the stamp right there. Okay, so that's what we have to look for.
That's what you look for, yeah. When you buy a wedge like this, and you shouldn't buy your cheese already ground up. And
Okay.
when you go into the store and you see the little green can on the shelf and it's not refrigerated, you should think it's milk and it's
How
not
is that
refrigerated.
happening?
What are they putting into that?
That's true. I
So
want
you
to
should
grab
buy
a
it
little
like this.
spoon, if you don't mind, and give this.
You want to taste this?
Yeah. Well, here we go. We have spoons. Looks fantastic. Now, Brendan, you went to the summer camp, right? As
Yes.
well. Tell me about that.
It's a 5-day class and very hands-on. We make a lot of advanced things that you wouldn't think about making for
Very
a kids
good.
class.
Well, I got to tell you.
Tell Teresa where you're going.
I'm going to Italy in March.
Oh, how fun. Are you going with Betty Ann?
No,
no.
My sister is studying abroad there, so we're
Oh,
going to
good.
visit
You're going
her.
to visit and you'll bring back some recipes.
Yes.
Guess where he wants to go?
Tell me.
Cooking.
Oh, yeah, I want to do a cooking class there.
I'm going to try if I
Awesome.
can see him, hook him up with someone there.
Good for you.
Yeah,
It'll be so
yeah.
fun. And I got to tell you, this is fantastic.
Isn't that delicious?
It's warm, it's
Yeah.
cozy, and it's
Yeah.
really
and it's good
a
for
great
you.
meal.
There's virtually no fat, and it's really a
I'm gonna
delicious
have a
soup.
great lunch. Thank you
You're
so
very
much,
welcome.
guys. All right. And still to come, the Unity Boys Choir performs When Style Returns. We'll be right back.